Chapter 21, Unequal Tests, 2002. Years after desegregation became the law of the land, on paper if not in practice, racists found a new way to make public education a weapon: standardized testing. You probably know a lot about standardized tests, the kind kids take each year, especially in public schools, where they must write short essays and fill in the bubbles for answer A, B, C, or D to questions about reading comprehension, writing, math, and science. They are, quote, standardized, meaning that the same test is given to all kids in a state, no matter where they live or go to school. And of course, this is exactly why they aren't fair. Here's the thing. Equality and equity are two words that look similar, but there is an important difference between them, especially when it comes to education. Equality is about kids having the same access. Equity is about kids having access and what they need to learn. Standardized tests, while given equally, are not equitable because they were never created with each student in mind, because they treat all students as if they are the same and have the same resources. But the test results in underfunded and segregated schools, which of course aren't as good as results in schools where students have lots of resources, are used to support the age-old racist idea that Black people aren't as smart as white people, that Black and white people are biologically different, and politicians found ways to place even more importance on these unfair tests, setting it up so that schools that got better results were rewarded with more resources, which is a way of making sure the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And while mostly Black and brown students were hurting from this policy, segregationists and assimilationists argued that the way to fix racism was to simply stop focusing on it. Let's pause. The idea that we should pretend not to see racism is connected to the idea that we should pretend not to see color. It's called colorblindness, not the medical condition whereby it's hard for some people to tell the difference between red and green, but the kind where people think it's better to act like they don't see differences in skin color. Here's what's wrong with this. 1, it's ridiculous. Skin color is something we all absolutely see. 2, it's dark skin that people pretend not to see, which reinforces the idea that something is wrong with Black skin. 3, if people do not see color, that means they do not see racism. So to pretend not to see color is pretty convenient if you don't actually want to stamp out racism in the first place. Unpause. The No Child Left Behind Act put in place by President George W. Bush, son of President George H.W. Bush, actually left lots of kids behind, Black kids. This policy decreased funding to schools when students were not making improvements on standardized tests. Schools attended by mostly Black students were already underfunded and lacked the resources of schools attended by mostly white students. Once again, policies like this reinforce the racist idea that Black people, Black children, were the problem, not racist policies.